We are conveniently located at 2499 Glades Road in Boca Raton. Schedule an appointment online at DexaFit.com. Give us a call, 561-923-8833, and mention this ad for special pricing.
Hi, this is Cedric the Entertainer. More than 29 million Americans have diabetes. For 1 in 5 of them, it causes burning, shooting pain in the feet or hands, a condition called painful diabetic peripheral neuropathy or diabetic nerve pain. My dad has diabetic nerve pain.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Hi, this is Faith. Welcome to the Faith Washington Show. I invite you to join me every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. We will discuss life, business, leadership, family, and fun, and what happens when your view of the world expands. A wide variety of guests will provide insight on how they do business, family, and leadership in their lives. So now, here's today's show. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Faith Washington Show, and we are streaming live on Facebook, Periscope, as well as 95.3 FM and 1470 AM radio and the iHeart application. Tonight, I have an incredible guest. His name is Brett Spodak. He currently runs a company called Productive Power. He is a major entrepreneur. He has had 2 other companies that he actually started, built, scaled, and sold for nice cash. One is called Tutoring Connections. One is Teacher's Teacher. And then he now is working on Productive Power, which I want to tell you is something that everyone should experience. Seriously, I went through Brett's course with one of his incredible coaches, and it made such a difference in my ability to produce and keep my inbox clean. I don't know about you, but having 200 emails in my inbox is a very bad plan. So, Brett, with that being said, what would you like to talk about first? You want to talk about
let's talk about your inbox. What's going on with your inbox?
My inbox is great now. My inbox is like 5 to 10 emails. At the end of the day, I have my to-do list that comes up. It's incredible. And I don't feel stressed. I think the biggest change for me was the decrease in the stress level, because I know where everything is.
Right.
Get rid of stuff that doesn't belong there. Put the rest on my to-do list. I never forget anything. So you're not missing things.
Right. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really about creating order in your life.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree with that completely.
For sure. Well, thanks for having me.
I'm so glad you came.
Sure.
So seriously, what do you think an audience of execs and entrepreneurs would benefit most from the knowledge that you have, that you've actually garnered over 20, 25 plus years in your career, that they could take and use?
Well, how much time do we have?
We have 24 minutes. Seriously.
There's look, a lifetime, provides so much opportunity for learning, and I've been fortunate that I've been able to learn so much in my life, from the businesses I've run to the one I'm currently running, which in an interesting way is a culmination of my whole career. You mentioned my different businesses. My first business was a tutoring business.
Right.
I started that in the 90s, just training people, or really tutoring mostly middle school and high school kids in math and science, and then it branched out into, we worked with adult learners, and we worked with everything from kindergarten kids with learning disabilities and phonics to adult learners learning LSAT and GRE prep and GMAT.
Wow, that covers a really huge spectrum of teaching.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Did you do this online? Did you do like private courses? How did you do that?
So this was before the internet. This was the 90s, right? So,
okay, folks.
Yeah.
That's a major undertaking.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we did it all one-on-one, and it was all in a learning center, and all my tutors worked in different rooms. And what was neat about the center, and it was one of a kind, because you could come there and get an hour of French tutoring, and then go down the hall with a different tutor and work for an hour with SAT prep with a SAT prep or a math coach or something like that. And so it was wildly successful. We ended up becoming the largest one-on-one learning center in the state of Maryland. It was pretty quick. I mean, it was in about 6 or 7 years.
Wow, that is fast.
That happened. And it was during that process of growing that company that basically I realized that there was a shortage of teachers in the country. So this was in the late 90s, right around the time of the internet bubble, or the first internet bubble,
Right,
if you will. And basically, I wanted to hire a full-time teacher for my learning center, and so I went to this job fair, set up a table, and schools were there to recruit teachers, and they all had their tables out, and teachers would come in and go around table by table, and I sat there for a whole day watching this process unfold, and I thought, there's got to be a better way to connect teachers and schools around the country. And so kind of the light bulb went off, and I said, if you created a website where teachers could post their resume and schools could post their job postings, you could connect teachers and schools around the country.
And so
through this
that
website.
was
And so that became teachersteachers.com.
Teachers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that was exciting. So that started right around the first, internet, the bubble in 2000.
Okay.
And I grew that for 15 years. And we ended up becoming one of the largest teacher recruitment companies in the world. We had a database of over 1 million teachers.
Wow.
We helped over 20,000 schools
That's huge.
recruit
Brett.
teachers.
That's huge.
And it's still going on today. It's still, a success story, and still helping to place tens of thousands of teachers every year in schools across the country.
That's incredible. That's incredible impact. Okay, that's what I always tell people. That's what I want to be a part of, and to know people that are creating that kind of impact and significance in other people's lives, because teachers are people that create impact. Whether they're acknowledged or recognized for it or not, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And you sold both of those companies.
Yes.
So you started them, scaled them, and exited.
Yes.
How did that make you feel when you kind of let go of your babies?
It's always, you always have mixed feelings,
Yeah.
actually. And it's always a tough decision. Both just because you're emotionally tied to the business. It is, you do feel like it's your baby.
Right.
But then the other is, you say, here's a steady stream of income that I have. And do I want to trade it in for, cash, right? That I can put in the bank. But then all of a sudden I don't have income anymore. And either you have to become a really great investor to figure out how to turn that passive money
Into a cash
income,
cow, right,
into-
right.
Or you have to go out and start another business.
And
so
that's what you do.
Yeah. So typically, I don't like to start my new business, or I don't like to sell my current business until I've already got an idea or have started my new business.
Okay.
So I know that the new business is most likely going to succeed, and therefore I know that I'll be able to pretty quickly ramp it up and have it start generating cash, so that I can feel comfortable. I mean, everyone likes to have cash flow.
Oh, absolutely. That's probably the best way to do it, obviously.
Yeah.
What are some of the key things that you think about when you're looking to start a business? So you've done 2 very successfully. You started a 3rd, which, from my opinion and experiencing it, is incredible. Everyone needs it. But what did you look for? Give me just 3 things that you looked for to say, hey, I know that this business is workable, it will create cash flow, and it will create significance.
Yeah. So I think number one, absolutely, the most important thing is you have to solve a need.
Okay.
And I think too often people start businesses because they just come up with a cool idea, but it doesn't start from the need, it starts from the idea.
Right.
So it's kind of it's the chicken instead of the egg. I guess there's always, the
So
chicken and
you're
egg thing.
you're saying solve a problem or fill a need that the marketplace has, rather than just use an idea and bring it to market.
Yeah, a lot of people just say, hey, it'd be cool if there was this, but they never take the time to really say, is this really a need that people have that's strong enough that they're willing to pay to solve?
Right.
So there's a lot of needs out there, but some of them aren't even that big a deal that people are willing to pay to solve them. So it has to be a pretty strong need that people have that people are willing to pay to solve it. So that's number one,
Okay.
for sure. Then I think the second is market. So it's great to solve a need, but if the market's really small, then the chances of
It's not
being
a large
successful,
not
yeah.
a large success rate. So
exactly. And so
large market.
I think you want something that's a pretty deep, right, need that people have, critical need.
Right.
And then you want something with a pretty big market. And then the third, is, I think, then it has to be something that you're passionate about. So it has to be something that you think about when you're just hanging out on the weekends, or you're lying in bed in the morning and you're just,
Comes into your mind.
It's just a natural thing that you happen to be uniquely qualified to solve. Because if you don't have that kind of commitment to it, then you're never going to create that special solution that's going to stand up above all the competition that's out there, because in most cases, if it's a pretty critical need and it's a big market, there's other people that have noticed that as well, and they're
Right.
building businesses to try to solve that need as well. So if you want yours to stand up and be special, then it's got to be something that you're going to be passionate about.
Right. That passion also gets you through those really difficult times when you're thinking, what have I done? This isn't taking off as fast as I'd like.
Right.
You know, if you haven't already built two businesses and you're someone who's doing this for the first time, then you need to consider that so that your passion pulls you through. That's your grit and intensity and determination to make sure something occurs.
Well, and I think the problem is a lot of people focus on their passion first, and they forget to identify if there's really a need. So they're doing something they would love to do. I mean, people say, I want to do this because I would just love to do this all day and get paid for it. Well,
Right.
you know, it's not a big need. If it's not a big need, then it's going to be very hard to generate income
Right.
from that passion.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Really good sense.
sure.
Anything else? Any other little nuggets of information that
You know,
might be useful for?
As you asked the question, the one thing that I assume people hearing this would think is that I was going to say one of the important things is that there's not a lot of competition, right? So,
Maybe, yeah.
because a lot of people ask me that. They say, well, how many competitors do you have? Because I tell them, I say, I got this great new business. We're solving a need that a lot of people have.
Right.
It's a huge market. There are 1 billion people,
That
you know,
need this.
on this planet.
Agreed.
Literally, that use Microsoft Outlook
Yeah.
and don't get any training in how to use it.
And that's a
Okay.
nightmare.
And then you think of all the people in this world who are overwhelmed with their email and their tasks
Yes.
and their calendar and their notes.
Yes.
Right? So check that, and this particular program is a culmination of my career. So it's 20 years of best practices that I've developed over my career across all your digital tools: email, task, calendar, notes,
Everything.
files, desktop, browsers, mobile, physical office space. And so it's unique in that respect because it's all from my experience and my mind. And then, you know, it's something that really, really connects with people and really makes a profound difference in their lives.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
It did for me.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so a lot of people then ask, well, do you have any competitors? You know, that's a natural question with something like this. And I look at the existence of competitors in two ways. I mean, one is you can look at it and say, well, if there aren't any competitors, that may be a good thing because you don't have a lot of competition,
Right.
but also may be a bad thing because maybe it's not something that really people are willing to pay to solve, so there haven't been other people that have figured it out
Right.
and looked at it that way.
Right.
And then you can look at it the other side, or the flip side, which is to say, if there are a lot of competitors, well, you can either look at it negatively and say, you know what, that means it's going to be hard to succeed,
Right.
or you can
Or-
say that shows me that obviously this is something that a lot of people are willing to pay for. That's why there's all these competitors. So
And then you become the best there is at
So-
solving the problem.
the truth is, I don't care. Like, I don't care how many competitors there are. If
Right.
I know that I have a unique proposition and I know that it's a big market and it's a big pain for a lot of people and I'm passionate about it, then you can have 100 competitors. But I know my business is going to rise to the top because it's going to be a unique solution that people are going to recognize and be willing to pay for
Right.
over the
and,
competitors.
and you also have a vision. Is that something else about you? Is that your ability to be the visionary and say, all right, well, this is what I'm starting out with, but I also know where it can end up, where I would like for it to go. And then between here and here, you're always looking, thinking, culling about, okay, well, what things can I do to make that happen? Who can I partner with? Who can I, get on board with me to understand the importance of this to create momentum?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think to succeed in business, you have to have a vision for whether it's begin with the end in mind. I mean, one of my favorite books of all time, Stephen Covey. I mean, I quote him all the time. In our trainings, we quote him, and my business philosophy is very much, you have to have a good vision of where you want to go and a plan to get there.
Agreed.
Or you're just going to flounder.
You
you're never going to.
won't get to where you think you want to be. You have to know where you want to be.
Yeah.
The how then occurs.
Yeah.
All of those things line up. It's like God's got your back. He just lines everything up and things begin to flow. Of course, you're going to have obstacles. That's just part of being in business, any business.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So be a little more specific about productive power. because I want the audience, I want you folks to hear a little more specifically what productive power entails, and the experience that they can have
Sure.
by going through the program.
Sure. Happy to. So productive power helps professionals master their digital lives is really what we do. And
All digital. So phone, computer, laptop.
all the core digital tools they use on a given day to organize and manage their life, we're going to touch on and teach them how to use those different tools in a much more effective way.
Okay.
And so what we found is that most professionals are very busy, and they have a high volume of information that they have to manage on a daily basis. So they're getting a lot of email, they're managing a lot of tasks, they have events and appointments on their calendar, they want to keep notes on clients, on just ideas they have on growing their business.
Right.
And most people don't have a very good system for how to manage all that.
They have no system.
No system.
I've watched. We have no system.
There's very little training. I mean,
Yeah.
it's probably one of the most important things that people need to know how to do, and yet no companies really train and onboard people and say, this is how you should manage your email. This is how you should manage your tasks.
Right. They're giving you like a brief overview. You walk in, here's Outlook. This is how we run it. Here's your emails.
Or they say, here's Outlook.
Right. And they don't give that full, in-depth, this is really why it was created. And that's, in effect, what you're doing is you're walking in and saying, hey, you know what? This little tool that you have is massively productive if you use it in the right way.
That's right. I mean, most people just use 10% of the capabilities of Outlook. And if they just up that to 20%, it's mind-blowing because there's so much capability there. There's so many things they can do to better organize their lives, to help them prioritize and get the right things done first. I mean, we're so reactive. People get so many emails.
Exactly.
And they're constantly being distracted and pulled in different directions.
They're not responding to their world around them to organize it. They're doing, like you said, it's like a knee-jerk reaction.
Right.
Just, I got 500 emails today. What am I going to do with them?
Exactly. So they're very reactive, and we teach people how to take control of all that. We teach them how to decide what are the things that are going to move the needle the most for them, and actually use the tool to help them focus on those specific things. A lot of times people want to know, okay, what are the big things? Like what things in Outlook am I doing now that I shouldn't be doing? And we've really look, we teach over 240 best practices in our program.
That's a lot, yeah.
We teach people how to better manage their email, tasks, calendar, notes, files, desktop, browsers, mobile, physical office space. But when it comes down to the core of the thing that really moves the needle the most, we found, is that people do three things in Outlook that's very inefficient. Number one is they use their inbox like a to-do list. So emails come in, they say, I'm not going to respond to this right away. And so they leave it in their inbox. And what ends up happening is they end up having hundreds, if not thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of emails in their inbox that they thought that they would get to on a rainy day, or they want to get next week or whatever. And they're all sitting there in their inbox. And their inbox becomes a de facto to-do list. And so the process of figuring out every day what to do is time consuming.
And
right?
What's that other word that goes with it? Overwhelming. People begin to feel overwhelmed
Absolutely.
and anxious.
Absolutely.
And as soon as your brain starts to lock into those emotions, you're no longer creative, you're no longer as productive, you no longer are in the flow of your business. You're doing things that you don't need to be doing and creating more stress.
You're spending your time stressing about what you have to do instead of actually doing stuff.
Things.
Instead of doing stuff. And so people sit there and they reread the same emails, and they think they're being busy. They go through their inbox and they keep reading the same emails, and they might read an email 10 times before they actually respond to it, And so that's a big thing. And so one of the things that we teach in our program that really is life-changing for people is we teach them a way and a process to clean out their inbox on a daily basis so that every day they end the day with a clean inbox.
And it feels so good.
And it feels
so
good.
so good.
I mean, it is the one thing.
It's the best feeling.
I mean, I see people, I live in Miami Beach, so people we've trained, I see all the time in social settings, and I'll be at a restaurant, and someone will literally come by me and say,
I love my inbox.
"Clean inbox. Look at my inbox. No emails in my inbox," and it's great. It's like you're being a part of a fraternity or a sorority of
business
people that
are,
get it, that know a
right.
clean inbox is the first sign that you're in control and that you have everything done. And then the other big thing that people do with regard to Outlook is they create a lot of subfolders, and they're constantly shoveling things into their subfolders, thinking that that's somehow organizing
Right.
what they have to do. But then they have to go back into those subfolders to see what kind of emails they have.
And are they really useful? And
they
are
rarely
they
ever
getting
go
anything
back
from
in
it?
there.
Right.
Yeah. So that process is just a waste of time. It fools people into thinking they're actually being effective or organized, but it really doesn't serve a huge purpose. It's just kind of a waste of time. But the third one's the biggest one. And the third one is that most people don't use the task list in Outlook. So Outlook has a phenomenal task list.
Totally true.
Right?
Yeah.
And most people don't even know it exists. And the people that do have tried it and weren't that successful.
Right.
So one of the things we do for people is teach them how to use that task list, and we actually customize it so it's really user-friendly,
Right.
so they can really get a lot out of it. And once they do, it's life-changing. It's crazy.
It's over
it's
because
amazing.
then your whole day is organized from that task list, and it just scrolls. You complete, check it off, it does its thing, and you just keep going, and you're
right.
never distracted. As long as you're not playing on social media and you stay focused on that task list, everything is going to get
That's
done.
right. Well, most importantly, exactly what you said, you can prioritize, right? So think about the inbox. The inbox, everything is organized in the order it came in.
Right. Timing. Right.
Last in, first out. I mean, the most important is,
Yep.
not the most important, the most recent is at the top.
Right.
Which isn't
Doesn't mean
isn't
it's the most
necessarily the most
important.
important.
Right.
And not only that, you have to reread each email to figure out what's in it, to then take time to process it and think, is this something I need to respond to? If you move over to the task list, well, all of a sudden, everything is organized in the order that you want to do it. So everything you know you need to do today is on your today list. Everything you want to do this week is on your week list. Everything you want to do this month is on your month list.
Right.
And so it's managing those different lists that is where all the magic happens.
Right.
So that on a monthly basis, you say, what are the things I want to get done this month? And you put on your monthly list. On a weekly basis, you say, what are the things I want to do this week? And you put on your weekly list. And on a daily basis, you say, what are the things that are going to move the needle the most for me today? And you put them on your daily list. And then you're focused on just those 5 or 7 things that you want to get done today that are going to make the biggest difference. Everything else is hidden. Everything else is out of sight, out of mind, so that you can really focus on those most important things.
And that's where the productivity comes in. That's where it, like you said, it drives that needle to the max because
right.
you're never distracted by ancillary things that really shouldn't have your attention.
That's right.
Click on that email, it goes into the to-do list, boom.
Right.
Pretty simple, pretty easy, but like you said, the majority of the people don't know it exists.
That's right.
And they don't know how to use it. And as soon as you learn how to use it, then everything just falls into place.
That's right.
Folks,
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, Productive Power. How can we get in touch with you, Brett? How can my viewers and listeners get in touch with you? Website, phone, whatever. Give me everything.
So it's easy. You either go to our website at productivepower.com, just as it sounds, or you call us at 305-676-5000.
Okay, give me that
And the
number
number's on the
again.
website as well.
Give me that number again, please.
305-676-5000
Okay.
or productivepower.com.
Okay. Awesome. So this is just incredible. This is incredible for small businesses, large businesses, medium businesses, anybody who's running anything. Whether you're working for Walgreens or you're working for, yourself or you're working for some huge IT company, if you're not familiar with how to organize things, you are stressed out for no reason. Productive Power is here to reduce that stress, anxiety, and overwhelm. No reason to live life like that. Just no reason whatsoever.
That's right.
But Brett, thank you so much.
Sure.
I can't begin to tell you how much I appreciate it. And thank you for showing me that there's a far better way to get through your day with hundreds of emails and not feeling like that's all there is.
Sure.
I've got to spend 5 hours on emails today. Just not necessary.
Well, My pleasure, and I'm so glad you went through the program and had success.
Yes, absolutely.
And thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Folks, we are on Facebook Live and Periscope at The Faith Washington Show. We're also on AMP2 TV Productions. We are live on 95.3 FM as well as 1470 AM. And the program is also rerun, I believe, on Tuesdays at 11. And thank you so much for joining us tonight, folks. If you have any questions, please go to productivepower.com, and 305-676-5000 is the number to reach Brett Spodak. Thanks so much. Good night. You've been listening and watching The Faith Washington Show, where we have widened your view of the world. Our guests share their business, family, and fun life hacks to make your world better. Hope you've learned something to apply to your life and business. And join me every Wednesday night at 7 p.m.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly